Welcome to another episode of Tools Down, thanks to Good Work, as we build a network to bring everyone a little bit closer together through this challenging time. Brownie, massive week in Victoria. People are feeling a bit flat, I reckon, so today we're just going to bring them up another level. How's it been?
Yeah, it's been good. The challenge obviously continues down here, and it's been a tough sort of couple of weeks, but who knows where the end is. We've just got to keep forging through, mate. And you're looking very skinny.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Pilates,
we're going in opposite directions at the moment.
Pilates is going well. I bought myself a wedding during the week.
Yeah.
Doing a bit of surfing down at Phillip Island, going to give it a crack.
Wetsuit?
Whole renewed experience since I gave up the grog.
Wetsuit?
Yeah, full steamer, giving it a go. Now this week, we're going to try our best to not mention the C word, I reckon, because there's been COVID everywhere. We know the PM and the premiers were meeting overnight, and there's lots of discussion, rumour and innuendo going on in terms of the numbers that hit us yesterday here in Victoria, more than 700 cases of the virus. But we're going to do our best to lift you up a little bit and lift your spirits. And of course, for those running small business, of which there's many of our viewers, and thank you for sending us your feedback, we really want to drill down and focus on what it means to be a small business at this time. So many of our viewers are going to be in the same boat, a lot of them being family-run businesses, partners working together on the tools and that admin side of business. So our guests today are going to help shed some light on managing a small business, especially during times like this. Now, we've got a big show, so we're not going to mess around. I'm not sure if you've got any more Kim Kardashian or Kanye West
he's gone
zingers
quiet
for us
at the moment on his ranch in Wyoming.
As we always do, straight away, we're going to go out and about on the tools and meet our tradie mates via the Good Work app, thanks to Sam. NRL chat, Joel Kane returns, Jimmy out, Joel Kane in, as we chat about plenty happening in the NRL.
Yep.
We're going to cover off the AFL. I don't know what's going on with the Bulldogs, and Port Adelaide are doing a little bit. Melbourne completely off the boil. Tradie Tech continues. This week we give you an insight into another technology called Field Pulse, and all the way from Texas. Hopefully he's wearing a 10-gallon hat. It'll be CEO Gabe Pinchev. He's going to join us from the US. And Finance with Jimmy, it's back. Plenty of questions for him, and then we're rounding it all out. Ladies with Tradies is a brand new way that everyone can connect and find out more about trade businesses as we all look to bounce back. And Kate Muldoon is going to join us from Tradies with Ladies. So without any further ado, mate.
Well, just before we go back there, you've always stitched me up on this show.
Right.
Now, I was delving back through a couple of old photos of yours. Let's have a look at you here, Huey.
What is this going to be?
I found this on Facebook, and have a look at the face on you. Look at that. What's going on? You and Lingy just getting the job done there.
So that was, I can't believe you found this. We've got plenty to talk about in this photo, but obviously that's me doing my best Stewie Jew. So that's Stewie Jew's premiership jumper. You can see I've got the guts just folding out the bottom of it. Your signature's on there, actually. I reckon that was 2013.
That would have decreased the value.
Just started working in...
Bit of Roger Rabbit too about those teeth, mate.
Let's not talk about the two of the best looking blokes in footy, I reckon. So we were trying to sell some Heinz ketchup, and clearly the audience were really captivated. One of the blokes in the background.
It was good to get one back there after all the stitch-ups you've been throwing my way.
I've got no idea where you got that from, but thanks. So let's do it.
Let's go.
No C word. We'll see you in a bit. Tools Down, thanks to Good Work, and today we've got a special episode just really targeting in on small businesses. We help you bounce back from these extraordinary events that are going on at the moment, and we are avoiding saying the C word today.
Yes.
No reference to that whatsoever. We're going to be full of positivity, and speaking of which, always a ray of sunshine, even behind a mask. Right now, it's one of our favourite segments. We're going to go on site with Sam, and you've got a really special guest with you today, Sam, and maybe even a smaller guest, a pint-size appearance. How are you?
We do. We have Matt from MDB Plumbing today, and also little cruisers running around as well. So you might catch a glimpse of Thor with his mighty hammer.
How good's that?
And how are you finding it out and about at the moment, Sam? Clearly, second week of having to wear the masks. You guys are doing a great job of social distancing. How is it out on the tools?
We did measure the distance, and yes, got a different mask on this week because, you know, being the lady I am, I can't wear the same outfit twice. So we're out on site and, out visiting Matt today, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, we'll leave it to you guys. Carry on, Sam.
Thank you. So, Matt, I want to start off by talking about how you got into plumbing as a trade initially.
Basically, as a young bloke, when I came out of school, Dad, gave me an opportunity to be on site with him as a labourer.
Yep.
So, I sort of got some hands-on experience quite young, right out of high school. And then, he had a mate who got me into plumbing. So it was love at first sight, really.
So was your dad a plumber too?
No, so Dad was a builder.
Yeah.
And he, so he just, gave me some labouring work,
Nice.
sort of on-site experience, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, cool. So you spent a lot of time on site.
Yeah.
Has there ever been anything weird, funny, strange? What's the weirdest thing that's happened to you on site?
Look, when I was a second year plumber, I actually slipped and fell into a pool. So that was a short day that day. I had to go home because the boss cracked it.
Summer?
Unfortunately, no. It was the middle of winter, so it was cold and all that. And even had the cover on the pool as well.
Yep.
So I went through the whole thing.
I always wondered if the cover would catch you.
Oh,
But no.
sort of did, and I was a bit lighter back then too. So it just sort of sunk in very slowly.
Pre-isolation, you were all a bit lighter.
That's it.
And so, because you've been in the trade for a little while now, I wondered, do you have any tips or tricks or something you've learnt over the years that could be beneficial for other tradies wanting to know?
Look, definitely use field pulse. Field pulse was definitely helped us out in scheduling and being more organised and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's been incredible. It's given me more time as well to focus on office work and all that sort of stuff. And the boys love it.
Yeah.
So
That's quite a recent thing for you, using technology, isn't it?
absolutely. Yeah, I was very. I used to be quite old school in the sense of paperwork and all that. But now it's all up to date and it's good.
So you get paid on time?
Well, hopefully.
That's the dream, I think, for all tradies.
Yeah.
So just to
Sorry.
finish up,
Sorry, Sam.
quick fire
Sorry,
round.
Sam, just a quick one. We can hear Cruz doing some amazing work in the background. Is there any chance we can get a shot of exactly what he... Right, so is he banging the hammer on your car? Are we okay? Do we need to call UE Insurance?
Why don't you drop
Do you? Oh, he gets a bit.
gone shy now?
He gets a bit shy.
Oh, that's all right. Hey, we'll leave it to you to close up, Sam.
There you go.
So we'll just finish off with a little quick fire round. Can you tell us your favourite tool and why?
Well, obviously, plumbing's quite a broad, sector. There's heaps of different aspects of plumbing.
Yeah.
Basically, as a roof plumber, your favourite tool would probably be a pair of snips because you're obviously using them 24/7.
Yep.
Snips. But as a general plumber, probably, maybe just a shifter.
Okay.
So, you need a shifter can fix multiple.
That because you can shift, but you can also hammer.
Correct.
You can...
Well, look, the average plumber would probably use a shifter as a hammer.
Yeah.
But not at MD.
Not an MD either.
He's had enough.
What station you listen to while you're working?
Oh, the J's.
The
Triple
J's.
J.
Yep,
Yeah.
nice. And lastly, your favourite smoko snack?
Well, look, I've tried to jump on the diet in the last few months, but it's a bit hard because I go into Reese Abbotsford.
Yeah.
And Abby, the manager, she always throws me Tim Tams. So
She's fattening you up. Tim
that's it. That's
Tams
it.
is not usually a tradie snack. Normally I've got a
Tim
Chico roll or something.
Now, everyone thinks pies and, sausage rolls, all that. Tim Tams.
It's been one of the great interviews, this one.
Just ripping stuff by you, Cruz. Matt, you weren't bad. And Sam,
Yeah.
as always, absolutely outstanding. Great time to be able to spend with your family. Say good day to Cruz for us,
MDB
guys.
Plumbing. So Matt Barrett's a middle name. I'm a betting man. What's your middle name? Is it? I'm going to take a guess and say David.
This is,
He didn't hear.
wants to be on.
Doesn't matter.
It's a great one.
It's all good. We tried.
MDB.
Thanks very
was
much,
that?
guys.
What's Matt's middle name? David.
Matt's middle name.
My middle name, David.
Oh, that was a guess.
You got it.
Well done.
Yeah, you can.
Got it? 10 points, mate.
Thank you.
You win yourself some Tom and Luke's. If you're looking for a smoko stack, Matty or Sam, try Tom and Luke's. It's a whole lot of good stuff into snack balls. Tastes like chocolate. Absolute ripper. Sam, as are you. Thanks so much. Under duress, never easy, but thanks very much for your time. And of course, if you want to connect with Sam and maybe be on future editions of Out and About on the Tools, hit us up at Good Work. That's how we found Matty, and that's how we'd love to connect with you and how you can connect with your fellow tradies. We will be back with more right after this. It's our favourite time of the show, I reckon, Brownie, when we just get down and talk a little bit more about sport. We're going to get to AFL in a little bit. We know the players are in lockdown. We've got 3 weeks straight of footy coming. I wish the Hawks would play a little bit better. We'll get to that shortly. But NRL absolutely up and about and flying, as is Joel Kane from NRL Nation. Joel, you joined us in episode 2. You're in the same location. Are the kids still locked away in that massive church door you got sitting behind you?
Actually, I'm hiding, boys. I'm in the corner of the house here. 4 kids. They've gone to school, thankfully. So up here in New South Wales, there's just 6 to go play on. They've marched on. But I'm hiding up here because I've actually got a heap of tradies downstairs working, boys. So
lovely.
I'm trying to hide away from the noise.
What are you getting done?
Oh, we're getting a little lounge room addition there, Brownie. So we've had a garage part that we weren't really using. We thought, you know what, let's blast a hole through the wall, make it a bit of a sunken lounge room and somewhere for me to hide down the track.
Thought it might have been a safe room. Maybe it's not a bad time to get yourself one of those safe rooms. You just lock yourself in and keep yourself safe. I'll leave the NRL chat to you guys.
Yeah, Joel, on paper, this round looks like it should be pretty easy. All the favourites are taking on the lesser lights. What's your upset going to be?
Ooh, upset's going to be. This is a tricky one. You know what? I think the Bulldogs might push the Parramatta Eels a little bit. There's a bloke called Blake Ferguson who he plays on the right wing now. As you know, boys, the wingers score all the tries. Well, the left winger, Mike Acevo, he's the top try scorer in the competition. Blake Ferguson, who's on the right wing for Parramatta, he was expected to be the major challenger to Micah. Now, Micah just keeps scoring for fun. Fergo hasn't scored a try yet. So it's unbelievable. I want to get a petition so they can swap wings. Maybe you can get a try out there. But upset-wise, I think the Tigers will really run away with it tonight. I think they're going to do a big job on the Warriors. The Warriors have now got players who have gone home due to the COVID scenario. So I can really expect the Tigers doing a big job on the Warriors with them folding like a deck chair.
Bunnies were good last night, although they had a big margin to chase down. The Dragons jumped out and scored the first 3. Their best is good enough. They just can't always find consistency. Do you rate the Rabbitohs?
Probably, my answer's probably in your question there, Brownie. There's a little bit of doubt there, isn't there? You know what I did like about last night? The fact that, you know, there was 6 tries, I think, scored by the Bunnies, 32 points. We are in an Indigenous round. Every single point for the Bunnies scored by an Indigenous player. It was a nice little touch.
You are a betting man, so where would you put your money this weekend?
Well, I put my money on the Dragons plus 4.5 last night. They led by 16.
Yeah, they did, yeah. And then got rolled. Hey, I watched the Storm play last week and I did a tweet straight after saying that Cam Smith is a certainty to be the next immortal. Jonathan Thurston's is in that conversation. Do you agree that those 2 blokes will, down the line, become immortals?
Well, absolutely, no doubt. Yeah, you're spot on there, Brownie. Your tweet is as accurate as you can get it. This bloke's a superstar, Cameron Smith. They're talking about him going around again next year. And he's playing in a position which is high traffic. So what a star he is. People are saying, is he going to Brisbane? Is he going to the Gold Coast? Is he staying at the Melbourne Storm? No one actually really knows. But one thing I will say this, he's a big chance to win the Dally M Award this year. Now, I don't know if this has ever happened in the AFL with the Brownlow, but has a player, say he did retire this year, has a player ever retired in the AFL with the Brownlow medal around their neck? It certainly hasn't happened in the rugby league. And to think you're getting on towards 40 and he could possibly do that, it could be a monumental feat.
Yeah, that's never happened. And also someone of his age. What is he now, 37?
Yeah, 37 going on 49. Like he's ran uphill the whole way, Cameron Smith. There's no question about that.
Nothing wrong with approaching 49, Joel. Hey, we're going to give you a little bit of time as you head out and just give us
what you've been doing up there.
Give us a view of the tradies. But while you do that, Brownie, AFL.
Yes.
Melbourne really off the boil.
Disappointing, weren't they? Yeah, they were a big challenge for them last night against the top of the table, Port Adelaide, and they just failed the test. They can't score. Their forward lines, they've had troubles there all year, so they need to get that connection better.
Now, I'm not one for being controversial and haven't been close to footy for a long time.
I know that.
What do you think about this one? So, Clarko, obviously, he's got the full support of the board, which is fine. Demons, Goodwin just doesn't look as fired up in the box as...
Look at the boys.
Hey, boys. Talking about Brownlows, this is my man, Sean. He's on fire. He's just doing all things here. We've got we've blasted through the wall. We've got a little sunken lounge room here. What do you say to the tradies out there, big fella?
What do you say? How you doing?
Yeah, and this is all contra, is it? Joel's not actually paying you blokes.
No, I don't know about that. Look, a little spar thing happening out here. But this is Dino, right? We get him for about half the day before he goes play golf. He just sneaks off for his golf game on a Friday afternoon. He's immoral. Yeah.
Good work, boys.
Yeah, they're good fellas. Hey, by the way, boys, on the AFL, we caught up with NRL physio, and what we're seeing in the rugby league is major injuries have gone through the roof. A major injury defined by 5 weeks or more. He's suggesting, this guy, that you're going to see a lot of injuries in the next 3 weeks in the AFL with players having to back up. So keep an eye out on that one.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for your time, Joel.
Yep, nice one, Joel.
Boys.
And just before, I was about to make my big explosive
Well, it's your big
point.
statement. This could be controversial.
I just wonder, is there any value at all in maybe Melbourne just at board level sounding out Clarko and seeing whether or not he might be the right person?
Oh, they'd be crazy not to. And Clarko's he's an ex-Melbourne footballer, isn't he? And he's the best coach in the competition as far as I'm concerned. So they're battling. And maybe it could be time for them to look elsewhere.
And so over the next 20 days of footy this weekend, who's your big tip?
West Coast Eagles minus 18.5 are absolute certainties against the Cats as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Beauty. Well, straight after this, we're going to have a look at technology and how it can help you in small business bouncing back from what is an interesting time right across the country. Stay tuned. We'll be with Tradie Talk, Tech Talk next here on Tools Down.
Yeah, you had one line to throw to and you got that out.
Tools Down, thanks to good work as we help tradies connect and bounce back from what is interesting times, not just here, but right across the globe. And I think this is a world first for our TV show.
We're going global, aren't we?
We are absolutely going global. We're going to head to the heart of where everything happens over in the US. We're dialing straight into Texas, and we're delighted to be joined by, again, another brainiac in Gabe Pincher. Hey, Gabe, you are the founder of Field Pulse, and we'll get to the technology that you drive in a little bit, but thanks so much for wearing the 10-gallon hat. I said in the intro I was hoping you would, and you've delivered. Outstanding stuff. How are you?
There you go. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Howdy, partner. Well, Gabe, for those people who aren't aware, we are going to be focused on it for a little bit now, and we're talking about it throughout the show. But Field Pulse is a technology when it comes to helping smaller businesses. Can you just give us a very basic rundown of what the technology means, particularly for small business owners here in Australia and the US?
Sure. So I position it as an all-in-one software for small service contractors. And by small service contractors, typically under 30-person companies. And we have some one-man shops and much larger and everything in between. And for service contractors, those are things like plumbers, HVAC, electricians, another type of service businesses or small contractors. There's typically a pretty wide range of industries that actually end up using Field Pulse, but we kind of focus on the service contractor, as we call it. But we get everything. And so we've had beehive and swarm removal companies, and we've even had like death cleanup and everything you can name.
Take us through the software and how it works.
Sure. So the main capabilities are around job scheduling and dispatching, customer management, estimates and invoices and payments, and employee timesheets. There's a lot of different capabilities in advance of that, but that's kind of the nucleus that's all interrelated. And it's very specifically designed for service contractors and their workflow. And it's all in one, it's packaged together. It's an iOS app, it's an Android app, and it's a computer web app, as you see on the screen right now.
Yeah, it looks fantastic, mate. And can you give us a rundown? Yeah, we can let you take the hat off. Thanks very much for indulging us. How did you find your way to Australia? Obviously based in the US. Can you just take us through a little bit of the story in terms of how Field Pulse landed down under?
Sure. So we had a few Australian customers, but not that many, and they just happened to land with us. But actually, Reese or Superseed have been looking for a field service management tool, and I guess they looked at every option. And when they reached out to us, it happened to align when I was kind of looking for a specific type of industry supplier as well to partner with, because I always thought that was a great partnership opportunity where we can integrate, sell supplies through the system. But even through my search, a lot of these suppliers did not have the technology to really be able to integrate and do it on their side. And Reese is a little different. So Reese does have the technological capabilities. They do have the team and the mindset in place, and so they were looking to do that, and it was a really great fit. And so they're naturally helping us come to the Australian market. So we've spent the last maybe 7-8 months redoing our application to better fit Australia. And that includes things like currency, date formatting, accounting formatting, accounting integrations with Xero and soon to be MYOB as well, or MYOB. Payments integrations in Australia. We created an Australian company of Field Pulse. So now we have employees in Australia and a team. And so we're really going all in on Australia. And it's a huge agenda for our company.
Gabe, really great insights, and thanks and congratulations on what is going to be no doubt a game-changing environment for our tradies over here to be able to operate in. How important is feedback? We know we're really all about customised service and making sure we're tailoring products to the needs of tradies. How do you go about getting feedback?
Yeah, so I'm lucky to have a crazy guy on my team called Adam who talks to customers, I think, half his day. I have to get on his case to stop talking to customers, but he spends a lot of his day talking to them and getting feedback. And he almost goes overboard in trying to adapt the product to what customers are telling him, and I have to calm him down sometimes. So I used to do that. I used to run the product team. I initially designed it and led that team, but I've handed it off to Adam in the last couple of years, and he's taken that over. And he's not shy about getting on the phone with customers and talking to them. He's accidentally run up huge phone bills calling Australia until we got him set up on a proper line and using WhatsApp. But he's not afraid of that. And so I'd say he spends probably minimum 2 hours a day talking to customers,
yeah, right.
Which is really amazing.
Well, Gabe, it's great to hear all your views around feedback. We obviously spoke to Matt from MDB Plumbing earlier today. I'm sure you'll get a chance to see it when you're watching this show US time a little bit later on.
Sure.
He's a Field Pulse customer and had great things to say. So no doubt you're doing great things and really adapting to that area of customised service. It's going to make a big difference.
No, it's really important. And a large part of our development team focus right now is specifically for Australia. So we've been continuing to improve the Xero integration. We've already started on MYOB. We just started on the payment platform as well. We're actually redoing some stuff to better serve some of the legal safety compliance stuff in Australia around having to sign off before every job, the JSA and another type of form. Really, whatever we can do to better suit the Australian market has really been our entire focus on the product side.
Gabe, thanks very much for your time. Where can viewers go to sign up and find out more?
So we have fieldpulse.com.au where they can learn about Field Pulse. It's an Australian dedicated site and links with our Australian team, and you can sign up, do a demo with us, and get going.
I can see that you're a Dallas Cowboys fan in the background there. How are they going to go this year? Dak Prescott, has he got capabilities to take you to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, so I was an enormous Tony Romo fan. And funny enough, that's actually a big part of the reason I ended up in Texas, was being a Cowboys fan. I was born a Cowboy fan to my mom, but actually grew up in enemy territory in Virginia. But I ended up going to school here and staying here ever since. And I was skeptical of Dak early on, but I like him. He's good. He can do it. But the question is if we're even going to have a season this year. Yeah. Australia is doing a lot better with COVID than the US is.
And we notice as you leave us, just one small request. I know you had a hat for us on at the start, but the Evil Knievel gear at the back, can you just can you just pop one of those on for us, mate? It is absolutely outstanding. Not that this is some form of dress-up, Gabe, but those are outstanding looking helmets, and we've really enjoyed your time today.
Good background, isn't it?
Here's the Texas one.
We've got all sorts going on. Hey! That's great.
Outstanding stuff. Gabe, obviously, we've got all the details in the show notes for the Facebook. Thanks so much for being a great sport. Congratulations on a fantastic product. I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thanks,
Thank
Gabe.
you. Thanks for having me on.
Up next, we're going to check in finance with Jimmy's special edition for small business. Stick around. And welcome back to Toolstown. Thanks to Good Work again. He's a founding member of our team. And as we
iconic member. As
we head towards double-digit figures in terms of episode numbers, we are delighted to be joined by our man with finance, Jimmy. Looking great. How are you, mate?
Good afternoon, men. Nice to see you. Happy Friday to you both.
Always brilliant to see you, Jimmy. And our focus has really been about small businesses and tradies and helping them through. So I know a lot of people are going to either be posting questions in the comments or giving us feedback. First, though, I just wanted to set things up with a bit of a macroeconomic question. So I was reading over... You with me?
Yes.
I was reading the US GDP, gross domestic product, is down something like 37.2%, which is the biggest numbers they've seen over there since World War II. And then they're also talking about inflation. So I don't want to bore everybody, but I think it will be an indicator for the impact on small business here in Australia. Give us what it means in terms of GDP and inflation and the impact on small business.
Well, what is GDP? But simply put, GDP is what's actually completed and delivered for sale within an economy. So the actual level of work being completed across all sectors is off. It's down. No, we're just not delivering the work that we were doing previously. So when they talk about GDP being down, it just means that amount of things being manufactured is down, amount of things being delivered is down, amount of services are down. Now, what does that mean for inflation and deflation? Well, it just means that the demand is not there for supply. So supply to be moved and supply to be delivered, the price must drop, just like house prices. If there's no demand, the house prices drop. Well, that happens across all commodities, across all services.
And so what do you think the impact on the US, and we know they've been more heavily impacted by COVID, I said it, in terms of deaths and virus rates and everything. Is it a lead indicator for you think in Australia, or are we a little bit sheltered in terms of the massive scale of impact they're seeing in the negative rates of GDP?
Well, this whole COVID situation has affected one side of the ledger when you talk about economic activity. Supply is okay. The actual ability to produce product is there, but demand is off. People aren't spending the money. People aren't buying the product. So what this means for Australia is if we are in lockdown like we are in Victoria at the moment, demand will always drag. So this is a demand-driven deflation and lower GDP.
Jimmy, today's show's majority been around small business. Can you, if we just bring it back, can you talk us through some common mistakes that you see small business make in terms of their accounting and how they do the books and how they run the operation?
Well, I think the biggest thing I see through my office is the lack of understanding of margin and profitability. Not understanding for every hour of work you do or for every supply that you sell, what is your profit margin? How much money are you making on that one unit? And understanding that is your key to your future. Now, the biggest mistake is that people aren't looking at their numbers often enough. And as such, they're not understanding those profit margins. So it's consistency of understanding your own numbers is the biggest tip I would give.
So how often should they be looking at those numbers? Is it daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly?
Well, I think it should be on two fronts. You should be looking at your cash balances and understanding where your cash is going to be almost every day. But understanding your real business, you'll probably be looking at more like a quarterly aspect, all right? Depending on what your business cycle is, you might be working on a job for a week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, 3 weeks at a time. Whatever that cycle is, you probably want a good snapshot to be able to get a good enough sample to understand, did I make much money on this job? Did I make any money on this job? And that's at least a quarter. Every quarter, you should be sitting down, looking at your profitability with your accountant or whoever might be able to interpret that for you to understand how much actually money you're making on each of these jobs that you're doing.
And obviously this isn't a sale job for you at Client Partners, but I think it's really important that people understand how critical it is to be getting expert advice. So if you do have someone on your side, how often do you think you should be checking in with your bookkeeper or your accountant? I mean, hopefully more than your dentist.
Yeah. I would doing it at least every month. Understanding what you've done in that particular month, and every quarter do a thorough review. So you've got to be involved. You've got to understand the ins and outs of your business. The ones who can understand the trade and the trending of your cash, because it's all about cash, are the ones who are going to get through this just fine.
Yeah. I've been doing a bit of work on my money story as we've been locked down. It's not the best, and I've already reached out to a financial expert. I couldn't afford James, but I've reached out to someone via Centrelink. So doing all the best I can. James, you started off by talking a little bit.
We've never got him James.
Oh, well,
in his career on tools.
Well, I'm just getting a little bit formal. He's dressed up formally. I just want to make sure we're hitting the mark.
Am I getting interviewed by my mother or something, am I?
You talked, just one last one, Jimmy. You talked a little bit at the start in relation to understanding your margins. Alongside that, though, I would have thought it's also important to take a look at salary versus sort of sharing in the profitability or the dividends of your business. So can you give us a rundown of what that would look like?
Well, effectively, as an owner of your own business, your business is your salary. So how you take it out as a dividend or a wage really does not make much of a difference in the long run when it comes to your tax preparation and efficiency. I will say this, if you're rubbish with your money, if you're rubbish at getting yourself organised for your taxes and your super and your obligation, stay on a wage. The wage programming is a framework where you cannot get caught. If you are more savvy with your money and you're nice and tight, then there is opportunity then to exploit the dividend aspect coming out of your company. Now that takes a little bit of tax planning and a little bit of organisation. But my tip is this, if you're rubbish with your money, stay on a wage. If you feel like you want to advance into your more tax planning programs, then talk to your professional and they can set up a program to help you out.
I'm a wage operator, I think, after that feedback.
Got absolutely no doubt. And Jimmy, if people do want some specialist advice in this area, where should they go?
Just come to kleinpartners.com.au.
Thanks very much, Jimmy.
Yeah, you're just delving into the macro-micro sort of economics.
Well, I do enjoy doing a little bit of research and even reading the rundown. Occasionally, Brownie. You'd be surprised. Up next, Ladies with Tradies, we continue our small business special efforts guiding you through this challenging time. Right here, tools down. Thanks to good work. See you in a bit. Welcome back to Tools Down, thanks to good work. All about building networks and giving you guys a little bit of information, maybe the odd laughs and some expert insight very occasionally. Not from us.
But we definitely not from us.
We do like to go direct.
Expert throws to others.
Very occasionally. We do enjoy speaking to the experts, and obviously someone we've connected with who has a massive social media following as well as a lot of influence in the small business community is Kate Muldoon, better known as Ladies with Tradies. Kate, very good afternoon to you, and thanks very much for joining us in what looks like a beautiful setup you've got there.
Oh, thanks, guys. No, this is just my little home office. Very humble little space I occupy, but it's great to be here with you today. So cheers for the opportunity.
No worries at all, Kate, and thanks for your time. So essentially, for breaking it down for those who aren't familiar with you, business coach for couples who are running a trade business together, and you're really looking to help them succeed sort of through mentoring, giving them a whole lot of support. I imagine, given the sort of crises we're involved in at the moment, it's never more important than it is right now.
Oh, 100%. And I've got to say, back when it all started, it was quite a frightening time for everybody. And to have the opportunity to get out there and sort of prop people up a little bit and give them somewhere they could go every morning to get an update and understand how it impacts trades business was a real privilege to be able to be part of. So, but it's a tough time, but they're getting through it. They're doing well.
Kate, what's one of the biggest barriers that you've found with, partners, couples, and going down that path?
As far as whether you're starting a business or looking to progress a business, it's really interesting to watch the dynamic that happens with couples. You've got a tradie who's been born, through an apprenticeship, gone on to do some great things, likely become a subby, moved into being a business owner. And they sort of just scramble a little bit because they haven't had any opportunity to have business knowledge instilled in them through that journey. And then we've got their wife or partner, or it might be an auntie or a mum who's involved in the business. And same sort of scenario, they don't really know what they don't know about business. So that's probably one of the biggest barriers, is that knowledge. And also, therefore, the confidence that lacks because they sort of struggle with understanding, where do I even start to make this thing work for me?
Yeah. And I reckon, Kate, I don't think I'd be able to go into business with my partner. She's amazing, but I think the stress levels might get a little bit high, particularly during this time. Are you finding that you're also being a little bit of a counsellor when it comes to managing not just the business side of things, but also that personal relationship when it comes to working with your partner?
Yeah, it's always heaps of fun, almost being the marriage counsellor with these couples that we work with, and if it's in a group setting, watching the dynamics that occur on the screen before your eyes. So it can be challenging, but it's super rewarding at the same time. And so many women, the reason that they're transitioning into their businesses with their tradie partners is they want that flexibility for their children and their family, and they really want more than anything to support their tradie because we think they're pretty damn awesome, these blokes, and we want to help them to realise their true potential. So it's great fun. Dynamics are hilarious. I get to be in the middle of some of the most beautiful moments and some classic blues all at once. So it's really good fun.
What can people do to build more confidence within their business?
Yeah, look, I think the first thing they want to do is make sure that they get educated. Again, people don't know where to go to get educated all the time. So, of course, businesses like ours exist out there, but you want to get to seminars, just gather as much information as you can. And that's the beautiful thing about the women being involved in the business, and they can bring that level of education if the tradie's out on the tools a lot more. So it's a really good team effort as far as getting the education goes. Second thing is they got to have a plan. Like, too many people are out there just sort of on the hamster wheel without a plan, and they're just going through the motions, and it's working to a degree, but it's sort of just a journey that they're following their nose on. So build a plan. Also accountability to actually implementing that plan, because we can write all this cool stuff down and have all these aspirations, but if you don't have somebody kind of tapping you on the shoulder going, "Come on, mate, pull the finger out," you might not necessarily get the results that you're after. So I think I love everything that Goodwork's doing too. It's very similar to us. It's about putting a community around yourself that get it. You can feel pretty lonely in business. So if you can find a network or a community of like-minded people who are in the same situation as you, then that's almost more important than the first three things I discussed.
100%. And I know, Kate, you know Brownie going way back. You're both authors. You've both had storied careers as being authors. Brownie's still got 9,983 books left of a 10,000 book press that he had done when he was up at the Gold Coast Suns. We tried giving some of those away the other week. We only had two people, me and my mum. Kate, we're really hoping to do a lot better when it comes to giving away copies of your book, because it sounds like you've got some great tips and advice. People can obviously follow you on social media, but for those who are watching, all the detail will be in the show notes. Plus, if you would like a copy of Kate Muldoon's book, Ladies with Tradies, please let us know in the comments. And you're giving away 50 copies.
Yeah, 50 copies. So, grab a couple if you want to. If you've got a few tradie business owners around you, we'd love to just share a little bit of wisdom, and that's just one little way that we can get that out to you. So.
Yep. Great. And just like you get fries with that at McDonald's, we're going to throw in a copy of Brownie's book as well, whether you ask for it or not. Hey, Kate, thanks so much for your time. Again, all the details are in the show notes. Ladieswithtradies.com. Really valuable, as you said, to build a network, but also get the right level of expert advice, not just when it comes to your business, but also maybe when it comes to working with your partner. We really appreciate your time, Kate.
Thank you.
Cheers, fellas.
Do you reckon we should take some form of counselling service or something
at
some point?
Yeah, we
spent far too much time together. We're going to wrap things up, thank goodness, right after this on Tools Down, thanks to Good Work.
Been a big show, Huey. Big show.
Just like a little bit of deer in headlights there, you picking it up.
Why were you mute then?
I'm not sure. I think I was waiting for a throw or something, but you picked it up
beautifully.
That's
the partnership
so thank you. That's
sort of thing that we've been trying to work on.
Laurel and Hardy, Ross and John.
Who are those two criminals that drove off a cliff? Thelma and Louise.
All right, quick. We're losing momentum on what's been a great show. AFL chat. And as Hawthorn fans, I just don't quite know where to take this one, because tonight, careers have got to be on the line.
Yeah, no doubt. Ageing Hawthorn list, Clarko's put them on notice, and I'm expecting a response. Whether they're good enough to actually knock the Blues off, we're playing pretty well. It's yet to be seen, but they just need to take the game on and score. Jago O'Meara's 100th tonight. It's been a great effort, but super exciting round of footy, or the next sort of 3 rounds all into one. I think the West Coast Eagles are living certainties this weekend. Porter showing that they're the real deal. Brisbane should get the job done as well.
We talked about injuries earlier in the show and the impact that we think it's going to have.
It has to.
Yeah, well, give us a rundown though. What does it mean? Like we see people in the ice bars, or you jump out at St Kilda after a game. How do you recover, and how serious can it be to try and recover after sort of 4 days?
Well, that's all that they'll be doing. They won't be training at all. They'll just be recover, because the Port Adelaide have got 4 games in 16 days or something. It's purely a load thing. So you're going to see a lot of clubs try and manage players' loads over the next couple of weeks. But it's a pretty dynamic game, and hamstrings, calves, quads, they're going to go. You just got to hope that you've done the work and you're durable enough to not be susceptible to the soft tissue injuries.
And something that some people mightn't be actually aware of. When we say that players are playing sore, it's not like getting out of bed and just having a minor niggle like most of us would. We're talking about serious soreness where sometimes you need a bit of pain relief. I mean, I know you're a hard nut, but...
blokes are playing with this, like pop shoulders. I think Bokey did it last night. And everyone's sore, but that's the nature of the beast at the moment. And they've never done it. They've never had to play so many games back-to-back on such short sort of recovery. So it's new, but this whole year's out of the box, and they're just trying to adapt as well.
And I know you like to editorialise. You got any advice, straight down the barrel of the camera, have you got any advice for the partners who might be breaching some of these restrictions by heading to the beauty salon or the...
Look, I think they're a little bit unlucky because they're trying to understand the new rules, biosecurity laws out there, and I don't think they'd be doing it on purpose. So just need to tighten it up a little bit, need the AFL season to continue to go ahead. Not just for our entertainment, but for the sake of the game. Otherwise, they're going to be broke. OK, well, I was expecting a much better, harder-hitting little piece from you there. I feel a bit sorry for them, I do.
It wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be easy. But it has been easy for us. We have had a magnificent
we have, especially
list of guests, and, well, I've tried. Thank you, Brownie. And again, join us. We've got another episode coming up next week where, again, we will work really hard to try and build a network and help everybody bounce back from what is a difficult time for us all. But fingers crossed, if we all stay safe and healthy and follow the rules, we can come out of this bigger and better than ever. Brownie, I'll see you next week. That's all from us. Tools down.
Have a good weekend. Be safe. I thought the C word you said we couldn't use was Collingwood, so that's why I was just ignoring them all. It was actually COVID.
I actually said it twice. You just said it then.
Corona or COVID? Was
both. It was everything.
It was everything.
All encompassing.
Yeah, right.
Same thing. But thanks for clarifying it at the end of the show.
Good on you.
Instead of at the start.